Buenas and half a day. My name is David Michael from PNC, and we are here with candidate Dwyane Nicolas to be basically talking about his running for his campaign with Coffee with the Candidates. So, half a day, Dwyane, how are you doing today?
Sir? I'm doing very well, thank you.
Awesome, that's great to hear. So, let's go ahead and just jump right into this. So, the first question that I have for you is basically, why do you want to run for senator?
Well, I wanted to run to legalize fireworks. Before I deployed, I went up to Saipan, I walked into a convenience store, and they have them readily available. You come over here, and you can't find it. So I made a conscious effort to go to the GEC to get a petition going to do it as an initiative. But they said, why don't you just run for office, run for senator? I said, okay.
That's a pretty interesting way to basically get into the scene of being in public works. What do you think makes you different from the other candidates?
Well, I like to bring people together. If you want change, you're going to have to bring people together. One of the things that makes me different from others is that, I'm Santa Claus. So I'm a symbol of hope and joy and fun and peace. And so that's the kind of stuff I bring. I would be bringing, my leadership style to the legislature. Is I want to bring people together. I want to bring senators together. I want to bring the people of Guam together, so that way we can make the changes for the future together.
You brought up your Santa Claus background, and that just basically leads into my next question of, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, your upbringing, what makes you, you?
Well, I grew up in Agate, and as you know, Agate is so fun. So all the fun people come from Agate. And I was an altar boy for 11 years. Had a lot of good role models, good mentors in my life, and I went through school there. I got my master's bachelor's in history, master's in counseling. I was a customs officer for a long time. I was in the National Guard with the Army. I did Santa Claus, and then I became a school counselor, and now I'm a businessman. So, I think I've been and have experience in every level of our social and economic strata to understand it fully of what are the challenges we're facing today.
Okay, so speaking of the challenges that we are facing today, what do you think are some of the biggest issues that Guam is currently undergoing?
Well, the biggest issue is drugs. I think methamphetamines is tearing our island apart, tearing our families apart. Kids are stealing from their parents. Drugs is meth particularly is tearing this island apart, and it's tearing at the soul of our island. I've seen it when I was a school counselor. I saw it as a customs officer. The effects, especially like as a school counselor, the effects on my students. The effect of poverty had an impact on my students. And so when I said that I wanted to run, and the issues that I wanted to confront are mostly the issues that I experienced while I was a school counselor. The effects of drugs on my students. It's very heartbreaking. A lot of these kids come to school, and you at first you'll see them as a behavioral issue, but when you listen to their story, some of them is heartbreaking.
So what are some of the ways that you think the legislation, if you were to be elected in office, to combat the drug problem here on Guam?
Well, I got some tricks up my sleeve. I'm not going to actually tell you that right now.
Okay.
But I do have some ideas that I want to propose when I become a senator or an elected official. But most of the things that I want to do really doesn't require legislation. All it just is, constant leadership present to remind folks, that to constantly do the right thing, to encourage good, happy homes, foster, loving relationships with their kids, and having them to grow up in a decent community, a decent family atmosphere, because those are the foundation for success. For our students, for our young, and that's who I'm really mostly concerned about. Mr. Nicolas is not getting any younger, so I need a vibrant, wonderful, wholesome family island that I can live in.
So what it seems like is that your campaign is leaning towards helping the youth, helping the future leaders of Guam.
Yes.
But can you give me a little bit more of a focus that is on your campaign? Give us a little bit, a taste of what you're going to be bringing to the island.
Like I said, I wanted to legalize fireworks. I'm a solutions finder. I'm a guy that loves to build on little successes, one success after the other. You know, we introduce fireworks and we show the people that we care for them and we want them to be happy, and then we build on these little successes until we find the right balance where the safety and the welfare and the security of our people is the most important thing for me. Right now, I'm unable to discuss what particular legislation, because I don't claim to know the answers. But if I do get elected, we're gonna get the input of everybody as how best we can move forward together.
So now that we're speaking about how we're moving forward, one of the things that we're moving forward from is the pandemic, of course.
Right.
So what do you think the negative impacts of COVID, and how can we recover, and where do you think we should start?
Well, with the COVID, we started our business at the very, very onset of COVID, when everybody was hurting and everybody was closing up and shuttering their businesses. Now, I'm a very optimistic person. Mm-hmm. I've always been, and we always have to remain optimistic when it comes to the economy, And what better time to be optimistic right now, when everybody can start anew. Everybody's looking at this as a negative, but I see it as an opportunity for growth. You plant the seeds now, both in the education, and also in the economy and in our society. You plant the seeds now, because right now, it's kind of like a reset.
Yeah.
The whole landscape is empty. So if everybody tries to focus on rebuilding and remain optimistic, in business and in every other aspect of our society, and we build toward the future, we'll be fine. We're going to do fine. Yeah, we'll be fine.
So in the next 5 years, what do you think the future of Guam looks like if we're to plant the seeds now and build upon it?
Well, my greatest concern looking forward into the future is our geopolitical landscape concerning China. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is what we're facing right now. As a businessman, I don't like conflict, and our biggest trading partner, for the United States is China, and we need to have peace and prosperity for us to grow, and we need to be conscious of the impending rivalries between the two, so that way we can best chart our growth for the future. We need a stable Pacific. We need a peaceful Pacific, and I believe if we have that and we can secure that, both on the national front and in the business front, I think we can do very well in the future going forward.
Okay, so going into the future, one of the things that Guam has is the tourism market coming back on island.
Right.
And so tourism was basically one of the biggest ways that the economy grew,
right,
and was able to stabilize.
Right.
How do you believe with the tourism marketing opening up again, what are some of the ways that we can attract new consumers?
Well, you kind of, I told you I was a customs officer. I've seen economies shift from Japan to Korea. I've seen how Japanese used to come here in boatloads, get onto a tour bus and go shopping and go sightseeing. Today we have a different type of tourists. We have the Korean tourists, and those guys are more independent. They don't get on buses. They rent cars and they go off on their own. So we need to be smart, kind of like a Singaporean nature. Always look, Singaporean mentality, always looking to forecast for the future. So we need to be smart about it, and we need to forecast for the future and notice and look at current trends, so that we can grow the tourism economy. But not only that, find other ways to grow the economy through other industries, and maybe also supporting more tourism. I don't. Everybody, since I was a kid, everybody keeps talking about tourism. what I want to do is I want to get another, look for another industry that may support it, or maybe a different industry altogether, but all so that they kind of like harmoniously work together.
So you spoke about you being a veteran. You're a veteran for many years now, and I wanted to get your opinion on basically like the military that are coming in, the military market, and just what does the future of the military being here on Guam says for us.
Well, I'm pro USA. I'm pro America. I love the military. I am a former service member. I'm a veteran, and I think the influx of new peoples and the growth in our population because of it is actually very beneficial. So you better start buying property close to the bases and figuring out a way, the best way to service them, because I shop in base. Some of the best stuff is not always in base, and some of the best bargains are not always in base. So I always tell you I'm optimistic about the future. So if you're out there and you're listening, start thinking about ways to service our military service members who may be coming to Guam in the near future. If you're looking for economic prosperity, that's where it is.
Okay, well, I would like to thank you for being able to come in here and sit down and tell us a little bit about yourself, your campaign, and everything that you're trying to do for this coming election.